Yo, what up gamers, Russ here, coming at you with a super short video. Apologies, it's going to be very unedited, very raw. This news just came out, but since I'm kind of covering Demon Hunter right now, I thought I'd go through the new Demon Hunter Dragonflight Alpha news. We got our first look at Demon Hunter changes coming in Dragonflight. There's no like talent trees or anything like that just yet. Oh wait, are there? Havoc? Let me hold. There are no talent trees just yet. But yeah, we have a couple insights in how the class might be going forward and a couple things to talk about it. So I'll just read them out for you and say my opinion on them and what this could mean, what my educated guess might be towards the direction they're going to take Havoc. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So the first thing we have is I-beam blasting all enemies in front of you. There's no change there, but previously I-beam would have like this weird square root modifier where it just had a massive fall off after 2 targets. Like your main target takes, I think, twice as much damage, but it hits everything, but it just starts doing like almost negative damage after you hit like 5 or so targets, right? Now this is going to be reworded slightly to have a fall off beyond 5 targets. It's not hard capped at 5 targets. It will hit everything, but it will have a fall off in damage after 5 targets, which is kind of fine because I've been saying maybe how they can fix Havoc, at least, you know, currently in Shadowlands, would be to uncap I-beam or at least make it have like a 5 to 8 target, range before it starts dropping off. So no real big difference there, but I-beam will just do more damage. And then they're having a little change to Furious Gaze as it is now. And yeah, it's instead of giving 15% haste for 12 seconds, it's now going to give 10% for 9 seconds. So a slight nerf to the haste after I-beam there. And there's also a change to Metamorphosis, which I'll go over in a second, which will apply to Demonic as well, which is another haste nerf. So we got Furious Gaze being nerfed by 5% and its duration by 25% from 12 seconds down to 9. That's a 25% loss, plus a 5% haste loss. So pretty decently sized nerf to Furious Gaze. My suspicion would be that they will make up for that. Generally, when they nerf like, you know, stat amps and things like that, they make up for it. Maybe they're baking some of that haste back into the class baseline. We'll see when we get talents, but maybe there's a lot of haste, buffing. Maybe this is a baseline ability and you can buff it further in the talent tree. You got to think about stuff like that. So on paper, this looks like kind of a nerf and you're like, why are they nerfing DH? DH is already kind of bad, right? But we don't have the talent trees. So some of this might be like, you know, there might be Furious Gaze rank 2 and stuff like that in the talent tree, which will buff this back up to the 15% for 12 seconds. Perhaps. Again, I'm not a psychic, but I'm just using my brain based on the other talent trees we've seen and my previous experience working with World of Warcraft and stuff like that, right? So a little bit of a nerf to Furious Gaze, and Metamorphosis itself is now only going to give us 20% haste down from 25, which is again another 5% nerf. Other than that, Metamorphosis is unchanged. There's a little note down here at the bottom which reads exactly the same as the tooltip currently is, but it's just saying 20% haste instead of 25. So bit of a nerf to meta haste wise, a bit of a nerf to Furious Gaze haste wise. I would guess they're probably going to put that back in somehow, but the baseline class will maybe just be a bit more clunky, or you have the option to go in and out of it if you want to be focused more around Metamorphosis. Maybe that's going to be a thing. We don't know yet. So onto the talents. If you've been playing Havoc recently during Shadowlands, especially now that we're playing Venthyr, you will have been using this talent called Cycle of Hatred. What this does is when Chaos Strike refunds Fury, and that is a when Chaos Strike refunds Fury, so notice the RNG there, it will also reduce the cooldown of I-beam by 3 seconds. So right now, with the current playstyle of Havoc on live, we rely on these Chaos Strike, apologies for the plane if you can hear that, we rely on these Chaos Strikes to proc their refund Fury, which is a baseline 40% baked into the spell. When it does refund Fury, it will reduce the cooldown on I-beam. If we can reduce the cooldown on I-beam, we can keep up our Sinful Brand through the legendary effect of Unity called Agony Gaze. So that's generally how it works right now. So there is an RNG factor of that 40% in the Chaos Strike right now with Cycle of Hatred, but they are changing that to have a guaranteed chance every single Chaos Strike to reduce the cooldown of I-beam by 1 second, an additional 1 second when it crits. So crit stacking might be good now. It was back in Legion when the refund worked off crit as well. That was always our best stat, so that might be coming back. Whether or not we're keeping Sinful Brand, we don't know yet. They just said that they're not going to take the play style of the current Sinful Brand forward. They did not say that Sinful Brand is being removed, so it might be in the tree. Personally, I hope it's not. I don't like the ability, but it could be there. And if it is, at least we'll have less RNG with keeping it up if that's going to be a playstyle, which I hope it's not. Then we got Demon Blades, your auto attacks. They removed it was have a chance to deal damage and generate fury. Now it just means they deal damage and generate fury. So no RNG with Demon Blades, which I think is amazing. Probably the best thing in these notes, unless you like momentum, which we'll go into in a second. But yeah, Demon Blades. Just giving guaranteed fury, that's going to make your fury generation very, very consistent and stable. You can take things like Fellblade, Demon Blade, like we have been this expansion, and you'll just have this steady influx. You won't have to rely on these procs and things. You know, sometimes you can have 0 fury for ages and then just ping all the way up to full, and you feel like you're overcapping and you can't Fellblade and things like that. So that would be really awesome, and that goes. You know, it's just a decent amount of fury every auto 7 to 12 fury. That's pretty consistent, I'd say. And then you've got things like momentum being changed slightly. So they've taken out the vengeful retreat component, which is kind of a weird, I've always found that kind of a weird thing right now in live. You have to like vengeful retreat and then it gives you a bunch of fury. So you get this like spending window. Now it's just Fell Rush gives you momentum. Fell Blade gives you momentum, which I think is awesome. The Hunt gives you momentum, which we know will be in Dragonflight as a talent, I believe. And Vengeful Retreat itself also gives you momentum. So you're basically, if you like momentum, which we could see coming back, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of momentum, but I could see this version of momentum being one of my favorites that we've had so far. So I think it's going back towards the old way where Fell Rush and Vengeful Retreat gave you the damage buff. Now we've also got Fell Rush and Vengeful Retreat. Now we've also got Fell Blade, which is awesome because it's obviously proc based, so that will be like most likely how you're going to be procking it. And if you get no Fell Blade procs to extend it, probably then you're Fell Rush, and if you get no Fell Rush charges left, then maybe you Vengeful Retreat, and you just be rotating the 3 to keep pretty much 15% damage buff up all times. That sounds pretty awesome. Again, we'll have to see where it is in the talent tree and things like that. We might not have to choose between that and demonic like we do right now. So cool little momentum change, really awesome Demon Blades change in my opinion. A bit less RNG with Cycle of Hatred. That's all positive from me at least. And then yeah, if you like PvP, you've got Demonic Origins, cooldown reduced by 2 minutes, duration reduced by 12 seconds from 10, so a little nerf there. And then Mortal Dance, which is like the Mortal Strike effect on Blade Dance, going up from a 25% healing reduction to 50%. So it's like a super Mortal Strike now, which is probably really good if you like DH PvP. So DHs will probably be even better in Arena, which I think they're not even that good right now. So maybe they'll be good in Arena, maybe they'll be good in RBGs and things like that. So if you like PvP, that's a cool little cherry on top. Yeah, that's all I had to say. This was just like a super quick video. It's going to be very raw, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Feel free to sub to the channel. I'll be covering DH and other classes going into Dragonflight. I'm kind of waiting a little bit more for beta than alpha because it's a bit more fleshed out, isn't it? So I'll be covering it a lot more when it goes into beta. And yeah, subscribe if you want to be involved in any of that. Anyway, hopefully swing by the stream, stuff like that. Twitch.tv/JustRuss. And I'll see you in the next one. All right, as always, peace.